Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a pretty poor rack, too many vowels and duplicate I's and O's. So I could well be changing here. Possibly a play of Obeah might be better. Quite a good start for my opponent. Lots of floaters, but unfortunately none of them enable me to bingo. I've got the oid ending. Can't see anything with that. I'm just quickly checking these floaters. I wouldn't want to overlook a bingo, however unlikely it may appear. Okay, so I can't see one. The C obstructs parallel plays. I can't see a way of playing Obeah. What I do have is DWEEB, which is just about better than changing, 14 points. And it's blocking the double-double lane in column 5. That looks a little bit better. Through MI, I would have Komitadji. I've got the J for score and the K. I've got Koji on my rack, which does play in column 4, but stops one square short of row O, so would be quite volatile. I can't see a way of getting my J on a triple letter square. Pricer only takes an S at the end, as does Orobi. I could play Jock through the C, leaving ADIT. Not a fantastic rack leave. It's nicer to have more consonants than vowels. And it would also be missing an E, S or blank, all of which are desirable in the best rack leaves. B takes an A and an O in front, which I have. Great, only 9 points for my opponent. He's taken my Koji spot. Can't see anywhere else for that. Jock is still available, and that doesn't give too much away. Is there something better? 23 points for Jock. Can't see anything across from L1. It would need to end in 2 vowels. I could play Kai, keeping the J, but I don't think that's a good thing to do. Jock 23. Duplicate I, and a couple of N's, so not great. And this is almost the worst sort of rack, in that I've got no scoring tiles and no bingo. Or no bingo that I've seen at the moment. Not too many floaters to consider. Onto a G, I would have Nigh Dating. I've got the anti-prefix with DIN. Jock takes an O, an S and a Y after it. Flim, possibly a P, definitely an S. I'm looking at the R to see if I've got anything with that. And I guess the E is also a floater. The plays ending A-N-E. Now through a C, I would have indicant. Can't see anything through the R. Just 13 points for my opponent. So it's good that he's not zooming away while I'm struggling. So far I've identified no candidate moves. EME doesn't really offer very much. I don't have anything which goes after it. It takes a U and an S after it. And it doesn't really open up any new opportunities. In fact, it restricts me from playing to the left of or B because B by itself took an A and BE doesn't. So, how do I play off the duplicates? Well, I'm thinking about playing Ginny. Clearing the rack out, scoring 20 points, not giving a huge amount away. I don't think Ginny takes an S at the end. I am opening up a double-double. I am placing an I by a double word square, but there are coloured squares all over the board, so you can't spend your life avoiding that. I don't wish to keep the I on my rack because that creates a vowel preponderant rack leave. I'm going with this. Well, great that I've drawn the blank. Not so great the rest of the rack. However, through a U or an M, I would have automata perhaps. And there could be others here. Duplicate A's and duplicate T's do appear in quite a lot of words. I think it's that triple E, which may be one tile too many. I certainly can't see anything through the I. Now, if the blank were an M, I would have the martyr ending. So AOT to go with that. I've already considered automata. And I can't see anything else. No scoring tiles on this rack. And I have a 9-point lead. And my opponent's play of just 2 E's after quite a long think suggests he may have kept quite a good rack leave and could be about to bingo. But it's not a particularly bingo-friendly board. Although there are bingo lanes. And as before, I've identified no candidate moves. Possibly just double A underneath Flim. Now, does P help with this rack? This is the sort of rack where if there is a bingo, the equity difference between playing that bingo and playing a non-bingo is likely to be huge, probably 40 or 50 points. Brat doesn't take an S. So does this rack go with a P? I've got the atto prefix. I've got the para prefix. I've got the tapper prefix. Well, it's not really a prefix, so tapper cola I think is good. Wow. It'll be low probability, but that's not the point. The point is I don't want to miss a bingo. Excuses or the reasons why you miss it are really just so much noise. I've got coat as a component part of a word. Okay, I am going to give up on this. And what I was thinking of was playing double A here. If my opponent wants to make use of this FA spot, he's going to struggle to do so without providing something. At the very least, opening row N. Double A 13. Really weak. Can I not do anything better than that? It's not a bad rack leave. Let me just have a quick think as to whether there's something better. I don't have anything down onto the I. I could play double A at the top, but that's no better than down here. Okay, I'm going with my first thoughts. Now, I do at least have a scoring tile, so I should be able to score a bit more than 13 points if I don't have a bingo. I think I would have Y and Dotty with a W and an E. Are there any 7s here? I'm going to skip through the alphabet and see if anything comes to mind, both as a 7 and an 8. That looks like there could be an 8 there. 14 minutes on each of our clocks. The Y likely to be at the end of the word. I've got day as a component part of a word. Now, I thought I had atho did, but that's only one T. There could be something here. I would have the ITY ending, and I'm thinking of 8 when I say I think I have something. I may have something here. That's the LY ending. Fortunately, my opponent taking a while with his move, which allows me the luxury of going through the alphabet. The out prefix. No, I'm not seeing anything. So I think ideally I'd like to play off T, Y, possibly the O. And no point really in hanging on to the D unless it's to help well consonant balance. So a play of toady or today would be fine. But this board is not particularly friendly. No obvious spots for the Y. Well, there's the phase spot. So I could play doy. I'm not sure how. Well, I've got toady. That's better. And that's creating two lanes, which is good. I wouldn't want to create just one lane for my opponent to take it, and then me to be stuck with the blank and nowhere to play. There are other lanes on this board. But I think today, toady opens 2 good lanes. And one component of a good lane is that it's available for 7-letter bingos. There certainly are floaters in the A and the P and the E of eam, but they're no good for 7-letter words. Gosh, again, opponent taking a while with this move. And he spent a while on his last 2 moves and not scored very much. Okay, so he scores a bit more, and again he's signalling a pretty good rack lead because CH takes a ton of tiles in front. Unfortunately, I can't slap down a bingo. I thought for a moment I had Attaboy, but again, 1 tile short. So I can play toady, T-O-D-Y, or even T-O-A-D-Y. It doesn't get the Y doubled. Can I get the Y doubled? So either YO or YA. Not that I can see. So toady for 38. Not great. U and W return to haunt me, as they do in all of my videos. Wow, there it is. Finally, opponent bingos. He has the blank, 89 points. He goes into a bingo lead. I've got this rack. Stylize, I think, takes D, R, and S. So I've got wingnut on my rack. Can't see anywhere for that. I'm not sure about untwine. But if untwine is good, then I do have untwined and untwines in row N. Yeah, so I do have a bingo. It doesn't score very much, but a low-scoring bingo is better than a non-bingo. Do I have any alternatives? I don't think untwins is good. Can't see anything with the R, with the blank as an R rather, in a 7. Can't see anything through the Z. So I think I'll play here, and although it looks dangerous in that it's opening up row O was wide open anyway because of the hooks for stylize. So untwines for 62, and I'm playing the S rather than the D because it limits the tiles that can go underneath it. Just pausing in case there's an alternative spot. Don't think there is. Okay, I draw the Q. I've got AT to go with it. Onto an L, I would have shackle. I've got cheese in column H, should that remain available. It doesn't. So, is there somewhere for cat? Or an alternative Q play? I've got chi, just playing the Q, and that's not bad. AWEHST is quite a good rack leave. I've also got chi in column 8, which might be better because it keeps the L and I available as floaters, and I am behind. But is there a big Q play I'm missing? I don't think so, and I haven't seen anywhere for cat. Hope I'm not missing something obvious. Okay, so I'm playing Chi. I draw a G. Do I have a bingo? Wow, and if I do, it will play in column 14, if it ends in S. Can't see a 7 with this rack. I am over 100 points behind. What about the floaters? I've got AGE as an ending and AGES as an ending. So through an N I would have Thenages. The L is still available. Can't see anything with that. What about the E? That doesn't look promising. So I could play Heasty. 49 points, which is a decent score. It's opening up 2 good lanes in column 15 and row O. If my opponent's got a bunch of 1-pointers, he may struggle to score, and I then may be able to come in with another big play. My chances of winning this game, I think, are pretty remote. It's hard to come back from 100 points behind on a board with limited bingo options. But I think this maximises my chances. Well, it's me who ends up with the 1-pointers. Onto a D, I would have Euglennid. No D available. $22 tiles in the bag, including the X. All the other big tiles have gone. Well, opponent does have a bunch of low-scoring tiles, but he's able to get 31 points. So what to do here? I don't think it would be particularly good going in the bottom right because I'm not opening anything up. So I could play Glued. It's not gifting my opponent anything huge. It's sorting my rack out. Well, what about doing this? If I was my opponent, I don't think I'd like to see this. It would be something that I'd have to address. 12 points is hopeless, but it was a hopeless rack. And in any event, my goal with this rack is opening the board up, and this rack leave is quite good. So I'm going with this. I draw the X. I don't draw vowels. 10 vowels out of 19 tiles, so it's not a vowel dry bag. Are there any big X spots? Well, I've got Wax through the E of Heast. Great, just 18 points for my opponent. He's opened a bingo lane in row B. The floating L is still available. I can sort my rack out and score well with Wax. If I draw of any vowel, I'm going to have a pretty good 6-letter set. The A of Brap is available as a floater, so my opponent can't shut the board down altogether. There is a sliver of hope. But is this the best X spot? Am I missing a much bigger one elsewhere? No, I don't think I am. Well, I don't draw a vowel, I draw a V and something else. Just 6 tiles in the bag. Opponent plays off 2 vowels, so it suggests he's got a preponderance on his rack. I'm sure those weren't the only vowels on his rack. So I'm still a bingo behind. There are still bingo lanes open on the board. I don't want to shut down any of those. What I do want to do is sort the rack out. I'd like to hang on to my E. How can I do that? And play off 2 or 3 tiles. 7 minutes on my clock. I've got Jim, but I'd really like to play off the V. So, this may look awful. 10 points. My thinking is just to clear out the Drek from my rack, even if it is at the expense of a floater. But that A is a really useful floater, given I'm short on vowels, so maybe there's somewhere else I can play. Varna, not good. Vuz, not good. I'm trying to leave open all of the bingo lanes. So what about playing Jim? Dreadful score. My opponent may be able to outrun me even if I do get a bingo. Only 9 points. But this looks like it goes quite well with the A. 6 minutes on my clock. Look at that opponent's play of Louis playing off 3 vowels, so he's certainly had a lot of vowels on his rack. I don't like Jim. But what's better? I do want to hang on to the E. It just seems the wrong thing to do to play it. Five minutes on my clock. I just can't open new lanes without burning the E. And I'm not sure I can anyway. Can't see anything through the L. I think I'm going to have to go with playing off GM, retaining the V annoyingly, because I have to preserve this A in Brap. So, quite a nice pickup. I draw a vowel. Can't see anything through the L. Can't see anything through the A. Can't see a 7 under the E of Louis. I have Vendors as a 7. There's nowhere for that. Just looking again at the A, it looks like the most promising. Floater on the board, but I'm not seeing anything through that. I have the over prefix, over swim not playable. So I think I'm dependent on my opponent making a mistake. Or possibly playing off one tile. If he plays off one tile, I'll play vet. Now, is the L definitely out? Yes, it is. Okay, so not looking great. Nine minutes on my opponent's clock. So, wow, he plays just one tile. So it's not quite over yet. I can play vet, keeping a decent 6-letter set. Wow. Is there anywhere better to play off just the V? I've got 4 minutes. Just looking around. I don't want to block any bingo lane. And that does slightly obstruct a bingo lane because HO takes an S in front. So if there were a better spot, I'd play there. But I don't want to spend too long looking for a V spot when I could be looking for bingos with the resulting pick. So I'm going to play vet and hope I'm not blocking my own bingo. Vet for 6. I draw the V. Okay. Possibly not a complete surprise. Maybe my opponent would have played there if he had had the V himself. But somewhat anticlimactic. Having spent so long looking for a bingo with precisely this rack. And it may be my opponent who's got a bingo. You can see his tiles at the bottom here. A nice set. Gauntus through a T. But is there anything through an L? Languettes. Okay, so he has a bingo. Will he spot it? He's got 8 minutes to find that. Just wondering if there were any lanes I hadn't considered, possibly ones with 2 tiles in. But I'm not seeing anything that's available. BI isn't available. Yeah, and there's nothing around this bottom left of the board. Great opponent. Well, great for my opponent. He spots the bingo. And the final score. 296 to me, 456 to my opponent, a winning margin of 160 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. And 296 is a really low score. It's quite unusual to get under 300. Often presages some missed opportunities. So, opponent's rack. He started. He played Pricer. This was my rack. I played Oribi for 14. I could have played Opioid for 18, and that would have been better. Opponent's rack. He plays Flim. Now, Jow was playable at L1, keeping a pretty horrible rack leave. I played Jock for 14 fewer points, and I think my rack leave is probably 14 points better than DKT, especially when you consider that the J is available for my opponent in column 1, so I prefer my play. Opponent's rack, he plays Eam. And my rack. And I played Ginny. That looks fine. Opponent's rack, he plays Brap. Now, did I miss a bingo here? No, I didn't. A Tartar, C13. Wow, look at that. A Tartar through the A and playing off 3 A's for all of 14 points. What did I do? I played double A for 13, so actually that's pretty much of a muchness with all of the moves played here, so I like my play. Opponent's rack. He plays CH. Now again, did I miss something here? And I didn't, and I played Toady for 38. That looks fine. Possibly Doty a better play, keeping the A. But not much between those. Nice rack for my opponent. He has Stylize. And I'm able to come back with Untwines. Opponent's rack. Plays Far. And I play Heast here. It doesn't... No, I don't. What do I do? I play just the Q somewhere. Yeah. And all of the plays here keep the Q. The Q's worth about -13. So I still like my play. I think the rack lead was pretty good, so I'm happy with that. Opponent has been played with vowels. Plays Azure. My rack. I play Heasty. Heast also available. I'm not sure whether it's good to hang on to the E or not. Possibly yes. Opponent plays Diota. And I play Ugly to open the board up. And look at the scores here, they're all pretty dismal. So when you add on the strategic value of opening the board up, and by strategic value I mean generating some small chance of winning the game, then I think this is fine. Look at these vowels on my opponent's rack. He plays Louis. I'm 90 points behind. EX, N15. EX and EX for 56, keeping 5 vowels. I didn't consider that, but in any event, Wex I think is a better play. It's sacrificing 17 points, but the prospects of me bingoing with GMNSW are really remote, and EGMNS is much nicer, so I think Wex is a better play. Opponent's sitting there with all the vowels. From his perspective, there are only 2 vowels unseen. He plays Coup. My rack, and this was one I agonised over. I played Jim. B8 Dev. That's not good. It's killing the 7-letter bingo lane. Nothing else obviously better than Jim. Opponent's rack. He plays Reg or Reg. Great. Nothing missed at the death. And at this point, there's still 1 in the bag. My only chance of winning is a bingo, so it's the right thing to do to play off 1 tile. And opponent's rack, and he's got Langwets to go out in style for 74 points and to secure the win. So well done once again to my opponent. Pretty frustrating game. I only managed to get one bingo down, and my rack just didn't mature into a bingo that was playable during the remainder of the game. So frustrating stuff, but there are games like that in Scrabble. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.